Hey everybody, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about the special counsel that was appointed to investigate President Biden and the classified documents case, and why it's not that big of a deal for President Biden. So as I'm sure you folks already saw, it has been discovered that President Biden had classified documents that he shouldn't have had from the time when he was vice president, and this has caused a massive outrage among Republicans trying to compare it to Donald Trump and everything, and now it's led to the appointment of a special counsel. So yesterday, Attorney General Merrick Garland appointed a special counsel to investigate how classified documents had ended up in President Biden's private office and home. And this is the special counsel that has been appointed. His name is Robert K. Hur, and he's been appointed to examine the possible unauthorized removal and retention of classified documents or other records discovered at Biden's think tank in Washington and his residence in Wilmington, Delaware. Now, in response to the special counsel being appointed, the White House promised to fully cooperate, which is what they've done this entire time. They've also insisted that prosecutors would only find unintentional errors. So that's the story as it stands, and maybe you're hearing this and thinking, wow, that's a pretty big deal for President Biden, but in reality, and once you look at the facts, it's really not. And I am almost 100% sure that no criminal charges will result from this for President Biden. Now, there are a couple reasons of why this isn't a big deal for President Biden. Number one, and importantly, this wasn't done because the Department of Justice thinks that Biden committed a crime, but rather, as you can see here, it was intended to protect the Department of Justice from accusations of being political, because obviously Merrick Garland, who is the Attorney General, would be investigating this, except he was appointed by President Biden, which makes the investigation kind of weird if he were to do it. Like, I think we can all agree that the President of the United States having his own Attorney General that he appointed investigate him could lead to some problems. And that is why he was appointed. It's not because Biden committed a crime or anything. And it's also worth mentioning that a special counsel being appointed to investigate a president is not something that's super rare. With the exception of President Barack Obama, every occupant of the Oval Office since Watergate has confronted a special prosecutor scrutinizing him or members of his staff. And as you can probably tell, a whole lot of presidents have not been prosecuted with crimes. A special prosecutor being appointed is just not that big of a deal. Another reason why this isn't going to be a big deal for President Biden is that he's fully cooperated. President Biden's lawyers discovered the first batch of classified documents on November 2nd, and they alerted the National Archives that exact same day, which is required by law. And then the archives came by the next day to pick the documents up. And every single time that Biden's team has found classified documents, they immediately alerted the National Archives. They didn't try to hide them. They didn't try to ignore the National Archives. They did the right thing. And finally, one of the last reasons that this isn't a big deal for President Biden is that he clearly didn't break the law. One of the main laws brought up surrounding President Biden's document case and Donald Trump's document case is 18 U.S. Code Section 1924, which is the unauthorized removal and retention of classified documents or material. And the language in this law is extremely clear about cases like this one. It says, whoever being an officer, employee, contractor, or consultant of the United States, and by virtue of his office, employment, position, or contract becomes possessed of documents or materials containing classified information of the United States, knowingly removes such documents or materials without authority and with the intent to retain such documents or materials at an unauthorized location, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned for not more than 5 years or both. And the key word in that law is knowingly. As it stands, we have no reason to believe that President Biden knew those classified documents were there. The day his lawyers found them was the same day that he found out about those classified documents. And then after, when Biden's team conducted more searches, he also learned about the presence of those classified documents at the same time that they found them. So as it stands, the evidence shows that it was a mistake, and even the National Archives agreed that it was a simple mistake. President Biden clearly did not knowingly hold those documents. He didn't knowingly take them, which means that he clearly didn't break the law because the language is very clear. Now, of course, we'll have to see what the special counsel says in their investigation, but that's why I believe that President Biden has not broken any laws. And finally, the last point I want to make is that Donald Trump's document case was far worse, and Republicans know it. One of the main differences between Biden's document case and Donald Trump's document case, which could make Trump guilty but Biden not, is that Donald Trump resisted requests to return documents for months even after being subpoenaed. Donald Trump clearly did not cooperate when the National Archives and the FBI asked that he give the documents back. In fact, the Department of Justice has evidence that Donald Trump's team may have hidden or moved classified material to hide it from them, which of course would be obstruction of justice, which is a different crime from what we're talking about today. And another major difference is that Donald Trump is actually being accused of multiple crimes, whereas President Biden isn't being accused of any. As you can see from this screenshot of the search warrant of Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump is being accused of violating 3 laws, which are 18 U.S.C. Section 793, 2071, and 1519. Of course, this all means that he's being accused of obstruction of justice and violating the Espionage Act. So So in terms of this special counsel being appointed, I welcome an investigation because at the end of the day, and as the evidence stands, this investigation will just show that President Biden is 100% innocent and it will fully exonerate him. So to the Department of Justice, I encourage them to investigate away. But just don't forget that Donald Trump did far worse than President Biden did. So anyway, folks, that's going to wrap up the video for today. I really hope you enjoyed. And please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I would really appreciate if you folks did all of those things. Your support of me has been amazing. I cannot tell you how much it means to me. And once again, whether you like me or you dislike me, have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you folks soon.